back to do my third video in a row with the UFC's Fight for the Troops event. It's a pretty good card that they put together here. Some good fights, some fights I'm kind of looking forward to. I'm going off of the UFC card, UFC.com card, which wasn't Matt Wiman on this card? And it seems that he's not, according to the UFC.com, which is odd. So I will leave that one off, and I won't pick it in a video. I believe it was going to be Matt Wiman versus... I can't remember who it was. But it was Frankie Edgar, but there was a replacement, and it made me pick Wiman. So Wiman. I think it was Jim Miller. Jim Miller, that's who it was picked. So I think I Wiman by a TKO in the second. Okay. First up, we have Eddie the Manic Hispanic Sanchez versus Justin the Insane One McCulley. A little fighting bashing here. Hate McCulley. McCulley is somewhat well-rounded, but his cardio is junk, and his ability to take punishment is somewhat junk. Eddie Sanchez is basically the other way. I think Eddie Sanchez is lacking a lot of skills, but he's tough, and he can dish out punishment, and he's heavy-handed. I'm going with Sanchez TKO stoppage in the first round, probably with a knockdown and a finish on the ground. Corey Hill versus Dale Hartle. Corey Hill is just an interesting matchup for anyone, even though he recently lost to really short guy fighting at lightweight. Good, our good friend Justin Buchholz. Shannon Gurdy, though, was submitted by, Shannon Gurdy submitted Dale Hartle in his only previous fight. I'm going to go with Corey Hill by unanimous decision. I don't think he finishes him, but I think he can outstrike him. I think he can keep it on the feet with his actually pretty good wrestling. And he's just got a ridiculous reach advantage. That's all there is to it. Next up, Ben the Killer Beast Saunders versus Brandon Wool. Brandon Wool's a decent up-and-comer, but I feel, or Wolf, I guess how it's said. I feel he's being fed to the wolves in a way here with Ben Saunders. Ben Saunders is lanky. He's hard to deal with. He's a very good striker, a very good grappler. I'm taking him by submission in the second round, probably with a triangle choke. He loves his triangles. Ben Saunders continues his undefeated run in the UFC, and that's it. Johnny Rees versus Steve Bruno. Steve Bruno is basically one of the many Mr. Glasses of MMA, along with Dave Terrell and Ryoto Matsunae. The problem is he's not as talented as these two, and that's why I don't really care for him. It's a middleweight. I don't know if this fight is at middleweight or welterweight. Johnny Rees he's a good fighter. Just generally kind of well-rounded. More of a ground fighter than he is a striker. But generally, you go to the ground with Steve Bruno, and you do have a problem. Steve Bruno's ATC material. But I'm going to go with Johnny Rees with an upset via unanimous decision, because I think Steve Bruno it may just be a size matter, and that Johnny Rees can take this fight. Next up, we have Luigi Fioravanti, Brody Farber. Brody Farber has seemingly convinced himself that he is a striker, when what he really is a grappler with not a great chin and not great hands. He struck with Rory Markham, which was suicide. Got knocked out for his troubles. He does have a considerable amount of reach on Fioravanti, but everyone has a considerable amount of reach on Fioravanti, and he goes on to outstrike them. Fioravanti via first round knockout in highlight fashion. Tim Crater, Nate Logren. Interesting fight. Logren is undefeated. He's a very solid ground fighter. He's a better wrestler, I think, in some ways than Crater. I just think Crater, though, has that experience advantage, that mental toughness, and Crater is a warrior, a complete. He will fight you to the bitter end, and I see him with a third round tap out of Nate Logren to go with his tap out of Cale Yarborough. Was it a TKO? I can't remember. But I'm going to go with Tim Crater with a late stoppage to open up the main card. We have the Robot, Steve Cantwell versus Rasim Al Hassan. Al Hassan is not going to be used to dealing with someone who's quite as big as Cantwell, because Cantwell is quite large, and quite as powerful as Cantwell, because he is quite powerful, and who is a pretty good wrestler and ground and pounder. I'm going to take Cantwell via second round TKO in what should be a decent fight, but I think a little one-sided. Mike Swick, Jonathan Goulet. Jonathan Goulet is the fighter who epitomizes the bad chin. This is due to the fact that the man has a lot of skill. If it was not for that chin, he would be a fairly decent, possibly even low top 10. Okay, maybe not that far. But let's say top 15 welterweight. He's skilled on the ground, skilled wrestler, skilled standing. Mike Swick, skilled standing, skilled on the ground, skilled wrestler. Difference, chin. Swick probably stops in the first round, honestly. Swick does not have what one would call really one-hitter quitter power, although you could argue he did show it against Alex Schonauer, but I think he will stun Goulet and finish him with a barrage in the first round. And the main event of the evening, we have Josh Koscheck, Yoshiki Yoshida. Interesting fight, really interesting fight. I really do like this fight. Koscheck would normally be my pick, and the reason I kind of pondered picking Yoshida is Koscheck, of course, had his war with Thiago Alves and got beat up pretty good for his troubles. This worries me to a certain extent as to what kind of physical shape he's going to be in, what kind of condition he's going to be in, and whether he's going to be really able to deliver against Yoshida. If he can come in and be in shape, and I think he will be, I take Koscheck by unanimous decision. I'm going to stick with that. When the weigh-in comes around, I may entirely regret this pick, because we could see that Koscheck is definitively not ready for the fight, and in that case, I think Yoshida takes it probably by decision, because Koscheck will still be hard to finish. I mean, Alves could finish him, and he blasted him repetitively, and he is reasonably hard to submit. So Koscheck, though, by unanimous decision. That's my pick. I'm going to stick to it for better or worse. So, hope these picks are useful to you.